Hello, my name is Emma, and in today's video, I am going to teach you a very important expression for conversation. That expression is how come. It's a very popular expression you may see in movies, on TV, or in conversation with English speakers. But it's a very good one to know because we do use it a lot. So what does how come mean? Okay, well first I have a question for you. I have here two sentences. Why did you miss your plane? And how come you missed your plane? What is the difference in meaning between these two sentences? Maybe you already know. Okay, so take a guess. The difference in meaning is actually, they mean the same thing. How come is another way to say why. It's just a little bit more informal, okay? So if you're writing, you're going to use why. But if you're speaking, you can use both, okay? How come is informal. It's an informal way to say why. And so by informal, I mean you use it with your friends, with people you're talking to on the street, but you wouldn't use it in an essay, okay? Or for school. Okay, so how come means why. So when we're asking how come, what we're asking about is we want to know why something happened or the reasons why something happened, okay? So for example, how come you missed your plane? A reason might be, oh, I was late getting to the airport, or I slept in, okay? So these would be the answers to a question like how come. So a lot of the times teachers will ask this question. You were late for class today. How come? That means the teacher wants to know why you were late for class. So now let's look at the grammar of how come and how we can use it in a sentence. Okay, so again, how come is an informal way to say why. So we often use it in conversation. Now let's look at the grammar of how come and how we make a sentence with how come. So I have here how come, which is at the beginning, and then we have plus the subject. A subject is, it can be I, you, he, she, they, we, or it can also be a thing, a place, or a person, but it's the doer of the sentence. Then we have the verb. So for example, play, take, listen, sing, eat. These are all verbs. And then finally we have an object, which comes after the verb in regular English sentences. And usually those can be people, they can be places, they can be things. So these are the objects. If this is confusing, let's look at some examples. Maybe that will help. So for example, how come you is the subject, take is the verb, and the object is the bus. How come you take the bus? This means the same thing as why do you take the bus? So here I actually have this written, why do you take the bus? And you'll actually notice how come is easier in terms of grammar than why. If you look here, why do you take the bus? You have this word here, do, okay? In other sentences, we say, why does he, or why didn't he? But there's always something like do, does, did, didn't here with why. And a lot of students forget to put this here. A lot of students will say, why you take the bus. But this is not correct English. For why, we always need something here. Now, the nice thing about how come is you don't need this, okay? If you look at how come, if you can make an English sentence, you take the bus, you can change this into why just by adding how come. So the structure of this is just like a regular English sentence. We have the subject, the verb, and the object, and then we just add how come at the front of it. So let's look at another example. How come Toronto isn't the capital of Canada? So again, we have how come. We have Toronto, which is the subject. We have isn't, which is the verb, and we have the capital, which is the object. So if you want to make a regular sentence, that would just say, Toronto isn't the capital. We can just add how come to this, and then it becomes a question, meaning why isn't Toronto the capital? How come John didn't come? Okay, so here we have how come at the beginning, John, which is the subject, and didn't come, because it's negative form, we have didn't here. So this is the past tense. Didn't come is the verb. Okay, this sentence doesn't have an object. Not all sentences in English need objects. The main thing is that you have a subject and a verb. Okay, so that might be a little confusing for you. Point here is how come is easier than why, because all you need to do is make a basic sentence and you add how come to the front of it. Okay. One last thing I wanted to say about how come. You can also use how come just on its own. Okay, here I showed you how to make how come, combined with a sentence. You can also just use it like, how come in a question mark. So for example, imagine we're having a conversation and I say to you, oh, John didn't come today. You might be wondering, oh, why didn't John come? So you can just say to me, how come? Which means, why didn't John come? Okay? English is a great language. How come? Again, this just means why. So it's a very easy thing to use, and I really, really recommend you start using this in your English because it will make you sound more like a native speaker and it will improve your conversation or your conversational English. So I invite you to come subscribe to my YouTube channel. There you can find a lot of different videos on all sorts of different things English, including pronunciation, grammar, IELTS, vocabulary. There's so many different resources we have. I also invite you to check out our website at www.engvid.com. There you can actually do some practice on this video and everything you learned today. We have a quiz there, and I highly, highly recommend you take our quiz. It's very good to practice what you learn so you can remember it, okay? You can also practice this maybe with a friend, or if you're taking English classes, why not try using this inside one of your classes with your teacher? So until next time, thank you for watching and take care.